Namaste. I want to welcome you to a meditation class. The Cafe, Recovery Cafe is making this available. I appreciate so much the people who make this possible at every level of effort and attention to share our work. Why do we do meditation? In the tradition that I practice, we do meditation to attain liberation. What is liberation? Liberation is freedom from being bound by misconceptions about the world. We do meditation to be able to know things as they are, free of imagination or fear or confusion. For some, meditation is very difficult. For some, it's easy. We use our body and our awareness of our body and our breath in many practices to find a way to access that self-awareness that comes from these practices. To know myself as I am, things as they are, and not be confused by the world around me. We all share this remarkable body. It enables us to live in a way that is more effective for each one of us. One of the things about this body that is a fact, it's not permanent. We lose this body. It's so difficult for us to appreciate that I will never have this body again or this opportunity to practice again in this body. Impermanence of this body is one of the things that we study and practice. We are present to the fact that I need to use my time well because of the shortness of the lifespan that we have. The meditation practice that I'm offering today is one that's very ancient. It goes back to the time of Buddha, before Christ. If you want to study this yourself, it's in the Anapati Sutta. Thich Nhat Hanh has a wonderful description of it in his book, Breathe You Are Alive. There are two basic parts of this meditation practice, and they're divided each into two offerings. The first one is just be aware of your breath. I want you to kind of notice your breath. And notice the direction of your breath. As it comes in, it goes out. And actually using your mind to make a comment about that, an evaluation. This breath is coming in, and it's going out, the direction of your breath, as you feel the breath coming in. Here I'm training my mind now to be an ally in this practice of meditation. So the mind now has something to do to observe the direction of the breath. It can be long, it can be short. Sometimes you'll see there is a variation, so it's important. When that changes, you begin to notice differences in duration, comment upon that. So direction of the breath coming in, breath going out. Duration may change. This is a long breath, this is a short breath. Playing with that for a few breathing cycles, playing with that awareness, and the word you choose to describe the way the breath comes in, the direction, the way the breath goes out, the direction, and duration, long breath, short breath, longer, shorter. Full breath, whatever word you would use to describe it. Now the eyes can be open or closed. When the eyes are closed, the tendency is to be more involved in your internal world, but also be lost in your imagination. So I want to keep track of just being present to the sensation that's occurring internally. If the eyes are open, it's so easy to be drawn away from my inner self. I want to be present to those two difficulties if the eyes are open or closed. But if my eyes are open, I can really be present to the world around me, which is outside, and the world inside, have the same awareness. That's a practice. Okay, now just sit back and relax. Then you tend to come out of the body. Let's notice our body, notice our feet. Kind of move them a little bit so that I'm aware of my feet. I want to be sure they're grounded. Feel the backs of the legs resting on the chair. Feel the back of the body resting on the chair. Notice your hands. Notice the weight of your head over your shoulders. Being present to your physical body. Be sure that you're comfortable. It's very important because as we go forward, you want the body to become still, steadiness of your body. When the body moves, it creates this flow, trickle of consciousness that disturbs your meditation. So you want the body to be steady. So as we sit back up again, I want you to kind of find a way to be here. And if this is too difficult for you, too hard for you, go ahead and lean back so that you're very comfortable in your body. You want to be able to be still, steady, and comfortable so that the practice is easy, not difficult at all. Let your default breathing awareness return, just watching the pattern of your breath. Watching the flow of the breath coming in. So as we come back to this again a second time, you may notice that there's something different now about your perception of the way the breath comes in. For some, the way the breath comes in begins above the head, kind of goes down, crown of the head, through the head, into the throat, into the heart, back, out, and up again. So in that awareness, you're aware of the breath as in the energy body, the subtle body, something more subtle than the physical body. Doesn't matter, one is not better than the other, just different awarenesses. But if you do have that sense of the breath coming in from above, then that's where it comes from. Going in and down and out and up, or coming in through your nose, into your chest, or maybe coming from your feet. Doesn't matter, you see. Where does your breath come from? Where does it go? Where does it come from? Each one of us is unique. So we study that. There's no ideal way to come at this. You are you. You are sacred. Your perceptions are sacred, unique to you, and you must honor them. Not do like somebody else. The second aspect of this meditation practice is training our awareness. In the beginning, we train our mind to notice the direction and duration of the breath. Now, training our awareness of the movement of the breath in the body, more subtle. This allows us to go more deeply into our practice of internal awareness of how I am at this moment, in this place, now. Begin to notice your exhalation. Just noticing it with a little more alertness, giving it a greater priority than the breath coming in. So I'm really aware of the beginning of this exhalation as it arises and moves out of my body and dissolves. Sometimes I make it longer. Naturally, when that happens, the inhalation is going to be stronger. That's fine. Come back to that beginning of your exhalation, being present to it as it begins, slowly dissolves. Begin to lengthen that exhalation. Sometimes counting is useful to make sure that my exhalation gets longer, but not dramatically so, easily done. But slowly beginning to disappear in my awareness of it as it dissolves, and as I face it. If you get tense as a result of your controlling your breath and being present to that, go ahead and relax and stop and let your breathing go back to what would be normal for you. But then begin again. Noticing the breath coming in, noticing the breath going out, becoming more and more aware of the exhalation as it begins to change your awareness of what's going on inside, energy inside the body. And then you begin to dissolve. Now begin to focus on that space before the inhalation arises. So you exhale, you notice the exhalation beginning, you're fresh awareness of that, and watch it dissolve. You slowly control it. And before you're out of your breath, you pause, pause. Let some time go by. And release, let the breath flow in, inhaling. Refreshing my awareness of the breath coming in. Watching that change as I go into my exhalation, letting it dissolve slowly. Pausing before it dies, ceases. Resting in that stillness. And letting it go and inhaling. Now make this very soft, very deliberate, very slow. Make sure the body is still. Refreshing my awareness of the breath as it comes in. As it ceases, pausing as well before I begin my exhalation. So I can fill that space between one breath and the other. That space is what we study here, that space between the breaths. So what is that space? I inhale, I pause. No movement, but awareness is still there. I'm studying that awareness. This is me. This is me at a very subtle level of me, without movement, without seeking, without grasping, being full in that moment of awareness before the next breath. Notice how I'm taken away from that spaciousness. As soon as I move, I lose that subtle sense of being. So we call this essence nature. In the beginning, essence nature is like a space in time between one breath and another. But over time, when we're practicing, that space becomes really deep and rich as I go further and further into my inner being, my inner self. Meditation allows us to use that awareness of my inner self as a measure of what is real, what's important to me, what matters, and reaffirm that awareness over and over again through practice so my life does not lose direction. So I can clearly see things as they are, without imagination, without fear, without confusion. I'm going to go back over the practice here. So we want to be aware of our body, our feet, our thighs, our form of our body sitting in this room here in Seattle, in this wonderful place where we can practice. Being aware of my breath, being aware of the impermanence of my body. We've all known how my body changes, each one of us. How important our time is to be used well. But used without fear, without grasping. To do that, simple practice of beginning with breath awareness, letting my mind aid me, breath coming in, breath going out, direction of my breath. Sometimes, as my awareness deepens, I'm aware that the breath coming in really comes in from above the crown of my head, not through my nose, but the deep awareness goes in my body from above and returns in that same way, coming in and down, going out and up. Training my mind now by noticing the direction of my breath and its duration. So now as I go to the next step in this process of deepening my awareness, my mind is present to that. I can now begin to focus on training my awareness of the way the breath moves in the body, the way my awareness follows it, the way my awareness can be taken to the space between one breath and another, and within that space, I begin to discover a greater sense of self. Sometimes it's called the madhya, the heart, not the anatomical heart, but the very center of my being, that space. So spending a few moments coming back to that simple practice of inhaling, noticing a space before the exhalation, letting that exhalation pursue its time, and dissolving resting in the stillness before the inhalation, noticing that fullness of awareness coming in as the breath comes in, pausing, exhaling with intention, following the awareness of the breath as it goes out and away, dissolving in the very face of my awareness. And not letting the breath go, without being taken away by it being gone, I lose my connection to my body. I become more and more involved in my inner awareness, my essence awareness in that stillness. So make yourself comfortable for a few moments, kind of a shavasana, just letting the mind go wherever you want it to go, wherever it wants to go. Maybe the body be completely soft. Maybe head hanging down. Restraining nothing at all. Calmness, perhaps. The wonder of being alive, flowing in and out, having this fullness. This wonderful thing called self-awareness, consciousness, unites us all, this thing we share. So now as you get ready to bring this to a close, a couple things I want you to keep in mind. We're going to be sitting back up so we can bring our palms to our heart, fingers touching or not. And this first moment of coming out of meditation is very important. There may be something happen there that you want to keep track of. It's important to keep track of that. Remember that. So everything we need is already right here in this moment for us. There's nothing missing. But often we have an experience where maybe I should have done this. No. Whatever happened is perfect. Let that perfection stay with you. Don't doubt it. Don't doubt it. And keep track of that as you return to your practice again, if you like meditation. Keep track of that awareness as you come back to your practice. This way, you don't get lost in doubt and confusion. Honoring your authentic awareness that only you have, keeping track of that. I'm going to be doing 3 ohms. Join me if you'd like to. Inhaling your breath. Thank you and be well.